Dreadlocks Q&A 13! Well, 13 unlucky for some, let's hope this goes alright. And that, you know, things don't fall on me and stuff. 13th Q&A in the series. Questions still coming. For those of you who are new and don't know what I'm doing, I run a series of Q&A videos whereby you guys out there ask me questions in the comment section. I collect them up and then I answer them here on YouTube. If you're going to ask me a question, please remember that you have to write question at the start of your comment, otherwise I'm just going to go and type away my answer. First question is from itzel hernandez. Question: were your parents always fond of your dreads? If not, how did you convince them to like them? Or did they just get used to it? Because my parents think my dreads are disgusting and that I should take them out. They are barely 1.5 months, so they look like complete at this stage. But ever since I got them, they've been nagging that they look ugly and that the dreads are taking away my sanity. Which they're not. But yeah, I'm no way in hell going to take them out. Anyways, what's your take on this and opinion on situations like this? Well, that is a complicated one and one that comes up quite often. Me personally, my parents I don't think were too fond of them, from what I remember. I'd have to go and ask them, but they got used to it. You see, I think they realised that dreadlocks are not a gateway drug. Yeah, I'm still here. I'm not in some sort of rehab with arms full of track marks. It's just hair. Most myths about dreadlocks, such as they're dirty, you can't wash them, they're full of bugs, they're easy to disprove. The myths section on lazydreads.com basically goes through the common ones. I've had my dreadlocks for over 6 years now. I'm not a drug addict, I didn't drop out of school, my hair isn't full of bugs, it's not dirty. I mean, lots of the myths about dreadlocks that lead people to not like them, you know, mainly the bugs and the dirty one. If people just sat and thought about it for 30 seconds, if dreadlocks were filthy, if dreadlocks were full of bugs, why would anyone have them? I consider myself to be a reasonably sane person, but I'm definitely a clean person. I would not keep them if they were filthy. I wouldn't want dirty hair on my head. If there were bugs, you know, I wouldn't want bugs on my head. It just wouldn't make sense. A problem you're going to struggle to overcome is the aesthetic one. If they just don't like the look of dreadlocks, they don't like the look of dreadlocks. They might get used to it over time, but it's hard to change someone's opinion on how things look. And there's not a whole lot I can do to help you out with there. You're just going to have to talk it through with them. They do get neater over time, but there's still loose hair, and they're not perfect. Dreadlocks are never perfect, and that's what makes them perfect, but you know what I mean. It's a very complicated situation, and it's going to be one that you're going to have to work out with your family. If they have any specific sort of worries, queries, things, and you can't find any information on lazydreads.com about it, please feel free to comment down here, and I'll try and help you out with it as best I can. Exquisite 187. Question: does loose fringe hair annoy you? I have a bit, and I tried wrapping around the dread it's close to, but it never seems to want to stay. Have you any other tips for this? Kind regards. Yeah, it annoys me. You can't see it now because I brushed it out of the way, but I have loose fringe hair. Look at this. How would this not annoy me? As soon as I get rid of it, I tend to get some more. That hair is very hard to lock, and it's a combination of the fact that hair seems to be softer than other hair, but mainly because it picks up grease from your face. Now, I wouldn't say that I have a particularly greasy face. I would hope, anyway. As far as I'm aware, I don't have a particularly greasy face. But it's still going to pick up some oils from there, and that is going to make it less likely to knot up. So you know when people say, oh, dreadlocks are dirty, it's all greasy hair. Have they tried locking greasy hair? Really? I think not. It gets greasy, and sometimes people can get the same happening around with their neck, and it's basically, you know, where the hair gets a little bit greasier. To deal with it, if you are not a crochet person, I'm not a crochet person. If you are a crochet person, you know, you simply crochet it in. If you are not a crochet person, what I do, and I don't do it a whole lot of the time, I sometimes get bored and do it, is I will get my loose hair and I will twist it, and basically when I don't sit and say, oh, this is my maintenance time, because I just, you know, if I'm just bored and I'm watching TV or something, I'll play with my loose hair, and I'll twist it around and around my finger like this, round and round, and then when my finger gets caught, I pull it out from the loop and twist again and twist again, and it just, eventually, it works like baby twist and rip sort of thing. Where is this dread going? But it gets a little bit knotted, and eventually, well, you are a different piece of loose hair. Look at this. Eventually you'll start to get a knot forming in the end, and if you're lucky it will hold, but it will stay like a little baby annoying dread for quite a while. I can tend, I'll just push it somewhere and hopefully it'll stay on my face for a while. So either that will just ball up and you can push it and it'll stay away for a day, and if you're lucky it will, you know, knot up into something. I can normally get those to work all over my head, but I don't know if you can see in this light, but can you see here? Maybe that was one. That was one. I just ball it up and then eventually it will form a little baby dread. And then when it grows a bit it'll grow into another dread. Unless the ones on my neck, these have stayed as, look at this. These have stayed as individual dreads. This was just loose hair and I'll ball it up. But they often wash out. As you can see, some hold, some don't. Salt water spray is going to be helpful for it. If you go straight from a deep clean, so strip all the grease off that hair and then salt water spray it and make it really dry, and then you might have some more luck with it. But you may find that as soon as you get rid of it, you get some more. It's just part of the process, I'm afraid. Antonin Dach. I really hope I pronounced this right. Question. Hi, smiley face. I have young dreadlock, and after every wash, they tend to grow together. I mean really much, smiley face. I have to separate them every time. I fear it damages the roots. And then there's a face that isn't a smiley face, it's an angled face. Shall I do something? With young dreadlocks, they are going to grow together, especially when you wash them. And so, you're just going to have to keep pulling them. It is easier to pull them when they're wet. You don't need to worry too much about pulling them apart. You just only treat them as rough as you feel they can take. I mean, if you're pulling and you can feel that, oh, this is really tight, then you'll know that whether your dreads can take that or not. As the dreads get older, they ain't going to do it as much. I have a video on it, dreadlocks sticking together at the root. You can click here to go to that video, or I'll put a link down here if you're watching on a mobile device and are therefore unable to click my link up here. As the dreads get older, they ain't going to do it as much because they're just getting more rope-like, and then they aren't going to want to stick, but young dreads are soft and they're going to do it some more. If you don't want to rip it, you can use a knife or scissors, but basically just rip a little bit. They grow really slowly, so as long as you rip a little bit every week, every time you wash them, then you're going to stay on top of it. Death Kid 536. Question. Thoughts on using hairspray to keep young dreads less loose/tight? Hairspray is not going to keep the hairs tight. It's also not going to keep them less loose. Hairspray is just going to stick loose hair to the dread. The loose hair has to be able to move so it can knot. Hair that is stuck in one place isn't going to knot. I mean, like if you took some hair and cut it off and put it in a box, and it's not moving, it's not going to knot. If you have a particular engagement that you wish to go to and look all updone, then, you know, use some hairspray if you really want, but it's just going to make the hair sort of tacky, and it's not going to allow them to do their thing. The same as waxes and gels aren't going to let dreads do their thing and just sticks them together. I would imagine hairspray isn't quite as bad because it's probably a lot easier to get hairspray back out of the dreads than it is with wax, since you often can't get the wax out of dreads at all. But you know, I wouldn't recommend hairspray. It's unnecessary, and the time you spend making them look neater with hairspray, you know, if you'd have just left them alone, then they'd actually have tightened and become properly neater, and then you wouldn't need to do it anymore. First, Dynast. Question. Have you ever had dreams about your dreadlocks? If so, what of? I've actually never had dreams about my dreadlocks as far as I'm aware. I don't really remember my dreams. The ones I do remember are about teeth. I have lots of dreadlocks. I have lots of dreams about teeth. Very self-conscious about my teeth. People say I don't smile enough, but I'm self-conscious about my teeth. So. I know people have dreams about their dreadlocks being cut off, but I don't think I've actually had that, so, as far as I remember. So I can't help you out on that one, I'm afraid. We need one of those people that analyzes dreams and tells you what each thing means. And then, you know, whether you believe that or not. That's it for Q&A, whatever we're on, 13? Yes, 13. Thank you for watching. If you have a question that you would like me to answer in a Q&A, leave it in the comment section, write question at the start, and, you know, do leave it in one of these videos and not in a random video, because otherwise I'll never find it. And if you don't write a question, I will type my reply. All this stuff and more on lazydreads.com. Find me on Twitter at lazy_dreads and join in on Facebook, facebook.com/lazydreads. Yes, that is all, I think. Farewell.